Hello, everyone. This is the fourth StillBlue Home Theater podcast, and I hope everyone is having a great start to their year. I've been battling a pretty tough cold, just a common cold, but it hit me pretty hard, so I haven't been able to put out content at my normal rate. In fact, this is actually my first published content so far this year. So I'm a little behind, but I'm on the mend, still a little congested, as you might be able to hear my voice. And hopefully I can make it through without coughing too much or completely losing my voice. So this may end up being a pretty short podcast, but we're going to go ahead and jump right into some of my upcoming videos. I'm currently reviewing a new projector. It's a budget projector. It's a sub $1,000 projector. I've already reviewed a few in that price range on my channel. Definitely check those videos out if you will. I've been pretty impressed with some of the newer budget projectors for the money and for folks on a really tight budget. Some of those are some pretty surprisingly good performers. You'll definitely not get like Sony, Epson, or JVC level overall picture quality, but you'll get a decent enough image for a very affordable price. In my reviews, while I definitely touch on some of the objective measures, I try to emphasize my real world impressions, how it looks to my eye, watching regular content like movies and sports and shows. And many of these projectors do just fine for the price. The main consideration is controlling light, because many of the sub $1,000 projectors just aren't putting out a lot of lumens. Again, if you're on the tight budget, don't overlook some of these projectors. You may be surprised. And I'm going to keep reviewing these and sharing my thoughts about what's out there and available, especially this year, because it looks like there's going to be quite a few new models in the budget projector space releasing soon. So be on the lookout on my channel for more information on that and more reviews. As far as what I have been watching in my home theater, it's been a lot. My home theater has had plenty of usage lately. I've been watching movies and shows and football almost every day. I've been in my home theater. I watched Reacher. That's a great show. The story is engaging. The characters are great. And I think especially this season, the characters are really the best part of the show. It's a pain to have to wait a week to watch a new episode. I wish we could go back to the early Netflix approach where every episode dropped at once. That would be my preference, to just binge all in one sitting or two, or just be able to watch whenever I want. But Reacher's really good, and the video and audio quality is really good on that show. I've also been watching the latest season of Fargo. Haven't finished it yet, but really good show. I also got in my monthly viewing of Pacific Rim. I watch this movie maybe every month or two. It never gets old to me. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's just one of those movies that hits me just right. It feels a little different. It's like a little different kind of movie on its surface. It seems like a simple city smashing creature movie, but there's definitely more depth to the story. The characters are great. The shots are great. I watch this movie very often. Without question, it's the most frequently watched movie in my home theater, and I do rewatch movies a lot. That's mainly why I'm so far behind in all the movies and shows I want to watch. So yeah, question for you all: what movie or movies do you revisit the most? Leave that in the comments section below. Doesn't mean it's your favorite, but what movie hits you just right and never gets old? Saw Everest, just added the 4K Blu-ray to my shelf. It's a very well done movie. I hesitate to say it's a great home theater watch because it's a tragic movie based closely on a true story, but those involved in this movie did an excellent job in presenting a really quality movie in terms of video and audio quality. One of the most impressive movies I've experienced in my home theater. The story is incredible, very emotional. And it was only $10, which is crazy low for a movie this well done. Blood Simple I saw on Max. I didn't buy the recently released 4K Blu-ray. With so many movies on my wish list, I decided to pass on buying the physical disc. I did enjoy it. I actually saw it twice, but full disclosure, I didn't watch it in my home theater. I actually watched it in my bed. Just finished Brother's Son with Michelle Yeoh, who is one of my favorite actors. It's about a high-ranking family in this criminal world. They're being targeted by this mysterious group. It's got some very good twists. It's a really fun movie, pretty emotional in parts, lots of good comedy. Definitely a show to check out, I think. Society of the Snow, released on Netflix. It's based on the true story of a Uruguayan rugby team that's stranded in the Andes Mountains after a plane crash. And for those not familiar with the story, I won't give away too much, but I do recommend the watch. It's a Spanish language film. English subtitles are available. The 1993 movie Alive is based on the same true story, and I remember seeing that in the movie theaters when I was a kid. Lift, also on Netflix, reminded me of Ocean's 11. There's a team of thieves led by Kevin Hart. They're forced into this heist to keep them out of jail. The movie is what it is. It's a pretty much just a simple popcorn movie, a good weekend watch. Still making my way through Marvel's What If. Really love that series. Also saw Old Boy for the first time. Heard lots of great things about it and finally got around to seeing it. There is a limited edition 4K Blu-ray available. That was on my radar, but at $76, I think that's where it is now. That's a hard sell for me. For one movie, I consider myself a collector, but I'm a picky collector. And as much as I enjoyed that watch, I'm going to pass on the limited edition release at that price. But it is a good watch. There is a huge twist at the end. Unfortunately, I was already spoiled going into this, so I knew exactly what was coming. Halo took me a while to get into this series. I was actually watching it on and off for about a year. As wild as that sounds, I could not get into the show. Then last week, I decided to just finish it. And the last half of the season was much better. I think I wasn't familiar enough with the story to understand a lot of what was going on initially. And I assume folks that have played or are more familiar with the game may fall into the world and understand it a little better. But for me, it took a good half the season before I, to some degree, understood what the whats and whys and appreciated the show at all. That said, it still has its issues. The story itself is a little convoluted. One of the side stories I didn't care about at all. I thought the supporting cast was actually pretty good. The series definitely turned for the better for me. And I'm into it enough that, yeah, I'll pick up season 2 when it's available on 4K Blu-ray. Speaking of upcoming releases, I am pretty excited about my pre-orders. I ordered the Conan Chronicles from Arrow Video. I've been an Arnold fan since I was a kid and remember watching these when I was younger. This is a no-brainer for me, and hoping it presents well in my home theater. It releases on February 20th. Major League, day one buy. Love this movie when I was younger. The 4K Steelbook releases on April 2nd. Contagion, really like this movie, and I actually saw it fairly recently, maybe a year ago. It's a good one. That releases on February 27th. 7 is finally releasing. I do have the Ultimate Collector's Edition on pre-order. As of the making of this podcast, it's $80. As much as I want this movie, not sure I'm paying $80 for it. I doubt the price will come down much, if at all. So it's a very good chance I'll cancel and just wait for the regular release. But this is due on May 3rd. Lone Star from Criterion. I want the price to come down just a little bit before I pick this up. I remember seeing maybe the first 20 or 30 minutes of this movie and enjoying it. That releases in just a few days, January 19th. The Guyver. This is a day one buy. So much nostalgia here. I remember as a kid finding this movie in passing one day, just flipping through channels. It's weird. It's dark, kind of campy, kind of scary. I haven't seen it since I was a kid. I'm hoping it's as good as I remember, and it releases on May 21st. And that should be it for right now for my pre-orders. I'm going to end it here, but be on the lookout for more videos coming soon, including some pretty interesting equipment reviews in the next week or two.